80% of our population actually lives on the coastline, and it's in our DNA as Australians to get down to the beach, to get out in the sun.
Melanoma is Australia's cancer. It kills more than 1,500 people per annum. That's more than the people who die on our roads each year.
Melanoma represents only about 2.5% of all skin cancers, but it accounts for over 75% of the deaths from skin cancer.
We all have to unite to defeat this thing. It's a pretty dreadful disease. It's very, very common in young people, 15 to 39.
But despite those grim statistics, it is important to remember that if melanoma can be identified at an early stage, it is a highly survivable, indeed curable disease. Well, the Melanoma Institute Australia is really a unique and very remarkable organisation. It is the largest single tumour multidisciplinary cancer centre in the world, and it's all centred on the management of one tumour, which happens to be the most significant malignancy in Australia.
There aren't many places in the world that bring together in a single cancer type such clinical experts, such research experts, but even more importantly, a database of over 38,000 people with melanoma and tissue to accompany that. The patient is at the centre of everything we do. It drives our research, it drives our goals. In terms of the research specifically, it's as broad-ranging as clinical trials to offer the best and latest treatments for patients, to biospecimen banking so we collect melanoma tissue and blood from patients with melanoma, to what we call a translational platform where we try to take results from the laboratory and put them into the clinic so that it translates into very quick, improved clinical outcomes for patients with melanoma.
I probably noticed I used to get a bit tired, but I thought it was just old age kicking in and this is what happens. But I did notice when I was at work one day that I had a small lump on the rib cage.
Every patient who has what we call metastatic melanoma, that's melanoma that has spread to other organs in the body, we do a profile, a simple 3-gene profile. So we've already started to personalise our care of patients with metastatic melanoma.
So I had the full body scan, the results came back straight away. It's in your liver, it's in the lungs, you've got a really large one in the pelvis area. She said, if you haven't done your will, get that organised. So I left the surgery and I walked outside and my mind's just going, gosh, this is pretty devastating.
If a patient has a mutation in their BRAF gene, in the melanoma, not in them, we can then access BRAF inhibitors. These are specific tablet drugs which target that abnormality in the melanoma.
As soon as I heard his voice, it's what partners do, it all comes out. I started crying and he's going, what's wrong, what's wrong? And I said, I can't talk on the phone, you'll have to come. We cried in the middle of the car park. I don't know what people thought of us. And then still brings tears to my eyes. And then he just turned around and said, whatever it takes, we'll do it. It was fairly late and I was stage 4. And obviously the prognosis isn't very good. And, but they could offer me a drug trial. Now, to a person who is not sure of how long they've got, what their future is, all those sorts of things, just to even have a snip of hope that there could be something is really, really important, whatever it might be.
Maria is one of the patients we've seen here at Melanoma Institute Australia, and she has a BRAF mutation in her melanoma. And she started a trial over 2 years ago now of what we call a BRAF inhibitor, and it's had a spectacular effect on her melanoma. She's been in a complete remission now for over 2 years.
In this 2 years already, my eldest son has been married and I've been able to see that, so that was the first one. And also, which we're really, really proud and happy, is that my eldest daughter has had the first grandchild in the family, and it has actually brought us all back together as a family unit, which is a wonderful thing. We're really just enjoying life now to the fullest.
we still have a lot more work to do because not everyone is in Maria's shoes. And there are some people who take these BRAF inhibitors and they work beautifully, but for not as long as they've worked with Maria, and we need to come up with another treatment or a better treatment up front.
Philanthropy is extremely important in medical research generally, and particularly in ours because we focus on melanoma. It's absolutely essential, as the government cannot be expected to do everything.
We would expect, with the therapies that are now becoming available, that we can make melanoma a chronic disease, something that can be managed very successfully with excellent quality of life for a prolonged period of time.
I think we've already cured some people, small group, but we've done it. And I think we can only continue to improve upon that, and that's our goal. That's where we're reaching for, and that's what I hope to see in my lifetime.
Give to your fellow man. It's good for everyone, and it makes you feel good about yourself, and it makes Australia a far richer place.
You can trust Melanoma Institute Australia to deliver and to improve things for patients. That's our track record, that's what we do, that's what we've done, and that's what we will continue to do. So if you really want to get behind cancer, and a cancer that's important to Australians, getting behind Melanoma Institute Australia will deliver.